Okay, let's get started.
Can we make that orange?
Great, there we go.
Okay, what do you think, Steve? Steve?
That's really cool. I think it's pretty natural. Like, it's an organic shift.
Wow, that's astonishing.
I think what we're most excited about with Google Workspace is the fact that it's going to help our team at MakeSpace be able to be as creative and collaborative like we would be in a real room.
With this evolution, it's clear that Google is raising the bar in terms of value delivered to users by creating a rich, intuitive, and integrated experience.
I love how much more connected everything is.
Picture-in-picture feature is like screen share on steroids.
I think it's really going to be a time saver for us as a company.
You guys have knocked this one out of the ballpark.
That's the best news I've heard today.
When can I use it?
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, everyone from anywhere in the world that you might be joining us from. Welcome. This is Nelly from the Learning Space. Welcome to another webinar session with us. I know we are well into the first week of February, but I would like to say Happy New Year from me and the rest of the team from the Learning Space. It's such a pleasure again to be interacting with you on our webinar sessions. This is our very first webinar for the year, and it's great to start again. And to kickstart things off, we are looking at Google. It's going to be an interesting session, so please stick around and enjoy the session with us. Before we go any further, just to take you through our interaction tools. If you are looking at your device, you will see that next to your or on the top right corner of your screen, you will see a question mark. Please, this is where you can ask all your questions. You can even chat to us through that. Next to that, you will see a page. We have a couple of handouts for you. So you might want to just view it, or you might want to download it for yourself. It's about 2 videos and a PDF there. Of interest is a PDF on the top 10 highest paying ICT courses. So that's very interesting to have a look at. And also at the bottom right of your screen, also you might be seeing a heart button there. So please, if at any point during the session you feel like there's something that is being said or presented that you are thoroughly enjoying, please press on that button to show us that you're enjoying the session. You can press it as many times as you like. So let's kickstart our session today. So So I just want to interact a bit with everyone. Just looking at 2021, I want to ask you, what are your professional development goals, specifically looking at training and certification? Please use that question mark again just to chat to us some of the things that you or the courses you think you might want to take up for training and certification this year. Feel free to drop that on the chat via that question mark. Please also kindly let us know where you're joining us from. Just drop your location there. We would like to know where all of you are joining us from. So when we're looking at these professional development goals, some people are saying, well, I'm going to give myself a target of at least one training and certification per month. That's about 12 certifications for the year. It's pretty bold because, I mean, it takes commitment to do that. Some people are even doing a training a week. So you see that people are really going in with their goals for professional development this year. So please feel free, let us know what some of yours are. I'll just keep chatting to you also throughout the session. Please, if you have any questions aside from this, feel free to drop them at any point. We'll address them. Now, when we look back at 2020, it was a year and a half. We all know that it was a year and a half, but also it gave us a lot of perspective in a couple of things, right? When we look at our sector, especially at training, we know that a lot of training transitioned to online. That was a huge transformation in 2020. A lot of companies had surely been doing online training well before that, but other players in the space that had not really fully tapped into that, everyone was going online because we were under lockdowns and we were under curfew, so everyone was forced to relook their traditional training. But for us at the learning space, 2020 is also a year where we interacted a lot with you through these webinar sessions. Our main focus for last year was really introducing you to key technologies and key for that era, key for that year, because with all that was happening, we had to look at remote work, we had to look at the tools that can be used for remote work, we had to look at secure remote work. So you will see a lot of the things that we're looking at were really centered around that. Okay, work has changed, school has changed, how do we navigate this new normal now? And technology has really been a great tool to help us transition through that period. And this year, we continue on that notion. We continue to want to engage with you as much as possible on ICT technologies and training. It's very important that we continue looking into key technologies that are coming into the market and how you can leverage off of these technologies for your business, for your organization, right? But particularly this year, we are shifting our focus. Our focus is more going to be on the training side. We are going to be looking at key courses. We are going to be using these sessions to introduce you to key ICT courses that are in high demand, courses that are really going to help you kickstart your career or bring your career to a certain level of expertise. So you will see that as we interact with you, we'll really be delving less into the application side, but more into the training side. And also, just one thing that I would like to mention, this year we will be hosting around 2 webinars every month. So every Thursday around this time, please join us between 10 and 11. We will be looking at different courses, as I've mentioned. So feel free to interact with us. As always, we will send out emails to notify you on this. We would also be posting on our Facebook and LinkedIn pages. So register and prepare for this. So like I said, our first poll, I believe you've already taken that. I've gotten some responses. Somebody saying about 4 certifications a month. That's a bold one. 4 certifications a month. People joining us from Lagos, people joining us from Abuja. Thank you very much. Now, as we get into our first poll, please, just as I've just communicated, our time and dates for upcoming webinars for this year, please, we would still like to know from you a few details. So please take your time to answer 2 polls that are coming up that will really inform us about how we structure our future webinars. So now to the first poll. Thank you. All right, thank you so much for your responses on those 2 polls. So we really just want to find out from you which days do you prefer to have these sessions and which time is more suitable for you, because we really want to make sure that when we do host these sessions, it's a suitable time for you, because there's a lot to learn about that can influence your decision in a training or a certification that you take up for this year. So if you are joining us for the very first time, welcome once more. We are the Learning Space. The Learning Space is basically a world-class African-based and inspired learning space for creatives and innovators in the ICT space. So if you want to innovate something, if you want to develop something in the ICT space, we are the people to reach out to. Our main focus is ICT capacity building, and through that we are able to provide you obviously with the traditional training in our facilities, but we'll also offer you e-learning through our learning management system. We offer master classes on specific courses at any level, really, be it either associate, professional, or expert level. We also have and testing facilities, right? So if you want to now move on to taking your exam, we are also able to do that. In addition to that, we are also able to provide you with a lab to do your lab sessions and to do your lab exams. So basically, that's what we do at the Learning Space. Now, when it comes to our courses, we do a variety of ICT courses. I'll just mention the areas that we are training in. These include routing and switching, security, cloud and virtualization, DevSecOps, DevOps, project management, programming, and so much more, right? And all these areas, we deal with different OEMs. So under your routing and switching, for example, we have different players there, security, different players there. So whichever course that you might be interested in, please reach out to us. Our website is www.thelearning-space.com. There you'll be able to see all the courses that we offer. If you want to train for any other ICT courses, please let us know and we can also arrange that for you. We offer a different type of training, right? We make sure that it's very practical for you and that we apply it to your real work scenarios. And we also like to apply it to the industry that you are in. So you meet professionals from here in Nigeria and also across the world internationally, just to take you through those our courses. Our trainers are qualified to take you through all our courses. So I do have one other poll for you. So please take a few seconds to answer that poll for us. Thank you. All right, thank you so much for answering that poll. I appreciate all your responses. So that was just to once again inform us of which courses you are particularly interested in taking up for training and certification this year. So moving on, our course for today is the Google Professional Collaboration Engineer. And this course is really there to help transform business objectives into tangible configurations, looking at your policies, your security practices for users across your organization. So once you have certified for this exam, for this course, we hope that you'll be able to do a couple of things, including planning and implementing for Google Workspace authorization and access, which is really the highlight of today's session. Obviously, there's other things in addition to that, like managing your users, resources, shared drive life cycles, your mail, to be able to control and configure Google Workspace services, manage endpoint access, monitor organizational operations, advance Google Workspace adoption and collaboration. So really, you're the overseer of all these things in your organization. You are able to monitor and implement them. So moving on to our presenter for today, we have Kabir Mohammed Aliyu. He is an experienced ICT professional. He is a founder and mentor at Transform Africa. He's also a mentor at Founders Institute. He started his ICT career in South Africa and has worked in leading ICT companies both in South Africa and Nigeria. He does have an educational background in ICT. He has a master's in business management and is currently pursuing his doctorate of business admin, which is DBA in information systems management. He is very passionate about mentoring young people and has done this for the past 15 years and even more across Africa. He's also passionate about ICT capacity building, hence why we have him here. He is a tech advocate and an ambassador. He is particularly passionate about Google and has been administering and deploying Google solutions since early days in his career. He is therefore, in my view, the perfect person for today's session. So Mohammed will be taking us through an introduction to this course and also give us a demo on the Google Workspace admin backend. So please continue to ask the questions. We'll be having a look at them throughout his presentation and demo. Please ask questions when he's done with the demo and presentation. We will try as best as possible to address those questions. Thank you very much. Handing over to you, Mohammed.
Okay, thank you very much, Nelly, for that introduction. Highly appreciated. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all keeping safe. Today we're going to be talking about the Google Workspace and how it's exciting for us to manage our various organization. But as they always say, in teaching you would learn, and in learning you would teach, from Phil Collins. And I think the fact that I'm mentioning this point is that we want you to take an interest in your certification career so that you can become the expert that you need to be, right? In the sense that you are able to pursue your career and you are able to have the best knowledge possible. So again, my name is Kabiru Muhammad Aliu. I'm just somebody that is very passionate about technology, and I love to learn a lot. Very, very important for me, and also for I believe for a lot of us. We need to create a future where we are very, very empowered, right? And we need to be determined, and we need to, continue to push. So just introducing the concept for today, or the discussion for today, we are focusing on Google Collaboration Workspace Engineer. Actually focus on how do you implement, how do you administer, and then how do you configure? Because those three elements are very important. First of all, you got to understand the organization's objectives, goals and objectives, which simply means that you got to understand what do they want to achieve from their collaboration infrastructure. Do they want to, be able to email? Do they want to be able to share documents? Do they want to be able to organize their workforce? Do they want to be able to collaborate smartly and interactively? Do they want an environment where people are free and innovative, to do a whole lot of things within the enterprise? So once you are implementing, you implement on that basis. Furthermore, once you are done implementing, you also need to administer. That means you need to work with your various users to make sure that you administer based on your company defined policies, right? Be it creating a new user, editing users profile, creating groups, etc, right? So you should be able to administer, and administration could be considered your day-to-day activities that you run within the organization. Now, once you have administered, which is day-to-day, you then need to be able to configure. Your configuration, when you do your configuration, it could have been informed by the policy that you have set within your organization. Yeah, you have set within your organization. So once you are configuring, you have to make sure that you have gone through change control, right, within your organization, or some sort of approval within your organization to make sure that you are able to configure on a change, on an approval that have been given by your organization. So these are the three elements: the implementation. Only a few ICT specialists get to implement, because you might inherit an existing infrastructure, meaning that the only thing that you can do is to administer and then to configure. But once we are providing these trainings, we will give you all the experiences that you need to be able to implement, to be able to administer, and to be able to configure. But focusing on today's topic, right, just to make you interested in this area of certification and training, right, which is the Google Collaboration Engineer, right? We would be diving into access and authorization. And nowadays, because of the way we are all working, all of us are all joining this call from various locations across the world. And the interesting thing here is that security and privacy becomes very, very, very important. Very, very important. And Google, right, has a role to play, and their role has been clearly defined, right? And their role that they need to play is to provide you with a trusted infrastructure. A trusted infrastructure that is reliable. So meaning that they will have to give you an uptime or availability of 99.978% with no scheduled downtime. That means they have designed their infrastructure not to have downtime. That means there's redundancy, there's fault tolerance, there's backup upon backup upon backup, right? From that perspective. And they are currently supporting 1 billion users, right? Over 8 applications. Those 1 billion users are consuming, over 1 billion users. They are currently doing round about more than 100 hours of YouTube videos upload each minute. I mean, just imagine that for a second, right? Also, more than 100 billion, searches every month. So I mean, this is the kind of mega infrastructure that they are putting in place to ensure that your business is reliable, right? They maintain the reliability part of their responsibility. Second is the responsibility of privacy, right? Privacy, meaning that they have the obligation to protect your business data, schools, government vigorously, resisting any unauthorized access to your what? To your data, which is to your data as a customer, right? Very, very important. That means they have people, right? They have people, process, and technology that is looking at these things on a constant basis and constantly improving and learning and being ahead of the malicious elements, right? So, or the hackers. Now, the third of responsibility is security, right? They are responsible for security of their infrastructure in which you are utilizing their services, right? Or we are utilizing their services. I mean, from a people perspective, they have over 700 full-time engineers or security engineers, right? They have invested a lot of money on research and development. That's why it's important that as we are on this call, on this session, on this webinar, it's important that we understand that security is both our responsibility, is the responsibility of the infrastructure provider, and it's also the responsibility of you as an individual, right? To make sure that you take your security very seriously. You cannot say you are secured when you close your door, you lock your door with iron bars, and you overly secure your door, but you decide to leave your window open, right? So you have to guide all angles of your security to make sure that, and that's why these people are there, to keep on analyzing and researching around security trends, right? Also, technology. They have invested a whole lot in technology, as you can imagine, right? Then the fourth responsibility that they have is the responsibility around compliance. Google is constantly under audit by compliance organizations, globally, to ensure that they are in compliance to what they need to do in terms of providing your security and then your privacy, right? And also, because they are compliant, it simply means that they can comply with other policies, sort of your GDPR, your ISO 27001, whatever your information security policies. So using the tool, it means that by default, your organization will also inherit some of their compliance standards, right? Then lastly, number 5 is transparency. Of course, it is very important. One of the things that puts all of us into, if I must use the word wahala in Nigeria, that is in Nigeria, but it means a bit of trouble, is when we are not transparent, right? If you're not transparent with your wife, or with your husband, or with your friend, or with your business partner, then there's going to be a problem, because once you are transparent, then everything is on the table. The person can make informed conclusions, right? But transparency is very important, at least so that you give the person the benefit of a doubt. But from a Google perspective, they are transparent by providing you 24/7 support, and also reporting to you when there's global incidences, right? If there's a problem, they'll communicate to you to say, this services is down, this is how long it has been down. And then when you go to their website, you will see also comments around what is happening within their infrastructure. So in a sense, security, I mean, when you do the Google Collaboration Engineer course, you would get to talk about security, because That is really what is very paramount in any infrastructure, right? It's very paramount that the infrastructure is reliable. The infrastructure, caters for privacy, security, compliance, and then transparency, and it's transparent as well. So we're going to be going deeper and deeper into security and how you configure it. But what I would like to do in this demo session is that I would just like you to look at from your screen. You would observe that from what most of you might be used to is that you might be used to what I call it. You might be used to the Google front end or the G Suite or the Google Workspace front end, which is your Gmail, your calendar, your Drive, and the likes, right? You might be used to all that. But from the back end, right, if you are using the Google free version, right, you don't have access to the back end. But if you are using the Google Workspace or G Suite paid version, you have access to the back end to configure and do your administration, right? But one of the elements that I would like to talk about today, or functions, there are several of them that you can do on the back end and even more, but it's on security, because today we are talking about authorization and access, right? So if I go into security, right, you would notice that there is a couple of things that you can do within the security back end, right? You could look at your alert center, right? You could view important and actionable notifications about potential issues within your domain, right? So you have a domain. What is a domain? A domain, in a very simple term, is your company's identification on the World Wide Web, right? So in an example, a domain could be dangote.com, or it could be, kabirumohammedali.com. That is your domain. That is your identification, right, on the internet, right? So what this alert center would do is that it will give you everything that is happening within your own tenancy, because anytime you configure or you implement Google Workspace, a tenancy is created for your what? For your domain or for your organization. No, domain in essence is your organization, right? It's your because your organization have to have an address. It has to have a contact person. It has to have a contact number. It has to have a street name. Your organization comes when you just say my company is this. My company is the learning space, right? That learning space comes with a lot of domain information. Now you can also look at your rules, right? Your rules. So you can manage and set rules within your various domain, right? If you are going to take the course, we're going to go deeper into how to configure the rules, right? Because let's say, for example, you want to create a rule to say when somebody creates a new email address, right? Or when a new user is created within your domain, you want to be notified as an administrator. Why? Why do you want to be notified? That's the next question. Why? Okay, the reason is that your licenses cost money. Anytime you create a new user, right, you are going to be what? Incurring additional what? Cost. So that should go through an alert, a rule, right? To say that once somebody creates a new user, you want to be alerted to verify whether that person, whether that user is authorized to be created, right? Right. You can also look at your password management as well. But on the rules, I've just given you the most basic, right? I mean, there's a lot you can configure under the rules, right? If you are very good in programming, you would understand that there's a lot of things you can do. There's if else, there's conditions, there's parameters, there's a whole lot of things that you can build into it, right? Then when we talk about password management, so the next section is password management. So on password management, right, you can enforce and create your password policy. For instance, you can say your the password of your users must be reset every 1 month. Now, once you do that, it will force the users to what? To change their password every 1 month. And not only that, you can even go further to say, don't reuse the same password, in your last 3 sign in or 3 password change, right? So that you can create fresher password or newer fresh password to further protect your enterprise. Remember, I spoke about you locking your doors, your door with bar and steel and everything, and security lock and mag lock, everything that you can imagine. But imagine leaving your window open. Who is your window? Who is an example of your window? It could be one of your users within an organization of 10,000 people. Imagine for a second that an organization is compromised, not because they have not locked their doors, it's because a particular user out of the 10,000 people in the organization, one user is now the one that is now the weakest link for that organization to be attacked. Just imagine, right? From one user, you have 10,000 users, all the users, the 99,999 users are good to go, but just one user is the one that was compromised, that left the window open, right? And the organization is compromised. So you have to implement some of these policies. You can even force a reset of sessions, right? So that if you suspect there's a compromise within your enterprise, you could say sign out everyone from everywhere, right? If they have logged onto their phone, they have logged onto their computer, they have logged onto their tablet, sign them out of everywhere. But before you do that kind of action, it be best that you have gotten what? Authorization or permission from your organization, maybe through a change control or an emergency change approval, right? Because if it's an emergency situation, you might need to act very, very fast, right, to activating whatever this thing. You can also disable users from what? Accessing less secured apps, right? So you can consciously say, this app, I trust it, allow my user to what? To access it. And you can do your 2-step verification, right? Just to ensure that even if your users are compromised, they can still go, they still have to follow the subsequent process to ensure that they can log in safely, meaning that after they have entered their password, they still need to enter a code before they are able to then continue to access the domain, right? So this is something that is very, very important, right? Then you can do other things, login challenge, single sign-ons, so that you can federate all your applications. All this you will be able to understand once you go into the Google Cloud Collaboration Engineer course, right? You go deeper into how to do this. And the promise here is that you would be able to actually, if you follow, because remember it's both parties, if you follow very well, you will actually be able to, from day one, after you finish your course, be able to actually implement, administer, and configure. At this juncture, I would just like to stop here for now. Please, if you have any questions, please post it on the chat function or the question function. We will take as many questions as we can. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you very much for listening so far. I'll be handing over now. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mohammed, for that demo. I think even though it was short, you are able to grasp why you would be interested in taking up this training. There's a lot that you can do for your organization. It's really a power-packed course, right? It's very interesting also. And you see that once you get into this particular course, I know a lot of collaboration and productivity suites have similar functionalities. So you might be able to also translate your understanding into other productivity suites. right? It's all encompassing, but Google is really a leader in this space. And if you take up this course, you position yourself really well. So just to round that up, we have a quote from the learning space where we say, in learning you will teach, and in teaching you will learn. That's a beautiful quote by Phil Collins, something that we live by here at the learning space. Now, time to just address some of your questions, and also just maybe take this time to see some of the interactions that we have had on our chat. Somebody saying they're joining us from Lagos. More people joining in from Lagos. I see people from Botswana, people from South Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. Somebody says that they would like to train in innovation of products and services, blockchain technology, digital wallets, or e-wallet technology. This person is also joining from Lagos and Nigeria. Thank you so much for all those interactions. Please, if you have any more questions, feel free to get in touch with us, either through our email or through our social media. Once more, again, our website is www.thelearning-space.com. Email us at contact@thelearning-space.com. On Facebook, we are at The Learning Space Limited. The same also for LinkedIn, The Learning Space Limited. Please feel free to reach out to us on all these mediums. Kindly follow us on our social media. We are very active there. Any upcoming sessions, any upcoming trainings, you always see them on our digital platforms. So please make sure that you follow us there to get any updates. If you also want to engage with our presenter today, Kabiru Mohammed Aliyu, please, you can find him on LinkedIn, Kabiru Mohammed Aliyu. You can follow him there and also message him there if you are particularly interested in the things that he has presented on, and anything else outside that. At this point, we are going in for the closing. Thank you so much for attending. Don't forget to have a look at all those handouts that we have shared. Download them. Once again, look at that PDF that shows the top 10 highest paying ICT courses or ICT certifications, right? So that you can empower yourself there and hopefully elevate yourself in terms of your career, position yourself really well. So thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it from myself, Nelly, and the rest of the team at the Learning Space. Please have a great day, and thank you so much. All right, see you next time. Bye.